On July 13th, 2022, we are going to be having a supermoon in Capricorn. It's like a full moon, but if you could take that little dial and you could just amp up the volume, that would be what a supermoon would be. You could just bring the moon closer and make the energy and the excitement much more obvious, much more intense, and probably much more stirring. That's what the supermoon could be like, or any supermoon in general for that matter. So it's really, really important to identify and understand where this full moon is going to be affecting you in your own natal chart and where you need to look. And let me give you the answer. Between 17 degrees and 25 degrees of the cardinal signs. That's where you need to look. The cardinal signs initiate the seasons. They are brilliant starters, self-motivators, and leaders. They could be really, really up in the charts when it comes to matters of authority and matters that require a lot of ownership of your role. And so, if I didn't say this before, the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. So this full moon is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is a very down-to-earth zodiac sign. And it's really a very profound conversation about managing your emotions that may serve you well at this time. Because when you're feeling those emotions, you may be drowned in the feelings. So drowned, it may hard. There's a perfect Okay, there's a perfect imperfection for all of you. So it may be difficult to rise above the fray and get on your bird and gain perspective of the emotions. And not only this, when it comes to not being stuck in whatever scenery on the ground, be it a jail cell, be it a burning at the stake in the town of VFD in a series of unfortunate events. And rising above the fray and feeling free, feeling uplifted, feeling that joyful feeling of being in the clouds. And, well, moving on and having a new beginning. I mean, even though full moons are about endings, they could also be new beginnings as well, if you think about it, because you're closing one chapter of your life and then you're beginning another. So, managing your emotions has many facets, and this could also be, well, anger, any intense emotion, fear, anxiety, shame, self-criticism, putting pressure on yourself. All of these black dots. And so, where do we need to pull back? Because we're getting too extreme, well, let's just roll back up and let's develop some logic. Because logic, balancing the logic with the feelings. Where are we overdoing it? We could be just spilling our guts of everything that's on our mind, in our heart, every belief that we have, every idea, every bit of wisdom or philosophy that we really, really need to get out. But then where that gets difficult is with another person in the relationship, where they may be drained, where they may be sick and tired, bothered, or annoyed at hearing you go on and on and on about this situation happened at work, I got fired, or, this child got attacked on the streets, or, I hurt myself today, I fell off my bike, and, all of these things where we're dwelling on the pain, dwelling on how hard it is to face the emotion, to accept the emotion, to sit with it and surrender to it, because whatever we resist persists. And so it's important to do something with caution and then discipline and detachment of breaking bad habit patterns. And I have little shorts that I did on my YouTube channel. If you are having an obsessive compulsion, the key is to do something consciously, preferably speaking, and then know that you've done it. If you have that little urge in your mind that says, oh, go over here, turn on the light, make sure that the faucet isn't running, and yet you've already taken care of all of those matters. You can tell yourself with that logical part of your brain, hey, I took care of this, I'm good. Detach. And here's another thing. Ground. I think if you take Cancerian emotion and heartfelt love and Taurian emotion, Taurian sensuality, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay, I completely gave away what I was going to say. Okay, so Cancer and Taurus, they are a match made in heaven relationships. And Taurus is another earth sign. Taurus is another earth sign, and Uranus is in Taurus, and it will be very, very active at the end of this month because it's going to shake up so much stuff that needs shaking up. And it will be dealing with earthly matters, the economy, the stock markets, so many things. So many things. And really, your values in life, where you may find so many things so near and dear to you, but then all of a sudden, you're like, did I seriously just spend all this time doing A when I could really be doing B? I spend all this time on TikTok where I was making these little ridiculous videos that may involve some dances or some, tricks and fraudulent, criminal fun hacks, when I really could be doing something more beneficial and useful for my time and my energy. And so that's where the conversation really gets important and interesting, is where we're focusing our attention and our energy at this time. And so that becomes one thing. Another thing is to turn on the observer before we're about to blow, before we're about to lash out, really hurt somebody physically or verbally. I was reflecting back on the Will Smith, Chris Rock incident that occurred in the spring of 2022. I was watching a video of an astrologer going over the astrology of that incident. And if you go under my astrology channels, you'll find Maria De Simone. I watched her video where she was going over the charts of Will Smith, Chris Rock individually, and also Will Smith's wife as well. So more information about that is in that video and others on YouTube or online articles as well, in written and video form, whatever form you want to gain the information. It's all online. But I will link to the video that I was watching, and I will put that in the description below because it could relate to this. Another thing, equally with this is identifying triggers of where we have something coming at us and we feel that feeling, that that hurt, that anger. And it's a question of how we react, because we can't control other people. We can control ourselves. And so, let's not push down our feelings, because they're just going to sit in that volcano and cook and stir and continue to stir and stir and stir until out they come. We blow our top of where we repress it. And it's very uncomfortable. And we miss the opportunity to express our emotions responsibly. So, Capricorn is really about getting real. What's not working for you? What do I need to organize and change around? Where am I being lazy and not taking action for what I want? Because when are we really truly going to feel like doing the thing that we want or need to get done? Sometimes we just have to get in the car and get our foot on those pedals and sit at that steering wheel and start driving. Just start driving that down the road to your workplace, to the restaurant that you need to go to for a business meeting at Giovanni's, which is like a made-up restaurant from, Darman. But for those of you not familiar with Darman, I will put his channel link below. But basically, he does videos where his model is, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives. And so there's films about many, many different scenarios of so many different things, which really, really get into, all of those emotional and human areas. That's all that I'm going to say. There's so many different topics. You can find information down below in the description. But so, just being an being an armchair astronaut, how's that going to work? What are the results? Capricorn is all about those results. And sometimes our feelings can interfere with us doing what we need and want to do. So, again, it's all a balance. Now, Pluto in Capricorn is conjunct this full moon. And Pluto is very, very late degree Capricorn, of where it can really, really get to that high-powered level of the sign of Capricorn, where things are really, really coming to a culmination with Pluto, and it will be transitioning into Aquarius in March of 2023. And so, one of the dark sides of Capricorn is coldness. Coldness of seeing the fire burn out. Coldness of seeing all of the water just vanish. No more water. No more fluid. That type of substance. And how is the earth going to benefit? Well, guess what? Your crops are going to fail. Wheat, tomatoes, lettuce, whatever it is. It is going to fail because you don't have water. Because you didn't maintain, you didn't keep up with the rhythm of and, well, manage your plants. So guess what's going to happen? You know, when you walk into a room and sometimes it just feels so cold, you may feel chilled to the bone. Like when I'm walking down a section, like, you know, around the freezer dairy area in a store, it's super duper cold and chilly. And that's in the literal sense. That's if you were to walk into a place as it being situational. But in terms of what we're talking about here, coldness, of maybe having restriction of your emotions, not saying yes to going deep, not having the willingness to go there and face any challenge that we need to face. You know, and this could result in a variety of different things. Maybe we're left-handed. You know, I shouldn't say we're. Maybe someone is left-handed. Maybe it is more of a mental, challenge. Or it could be something completely different. Or interrelated to what I just said, to what I just listed as an example. But it's important to show sympathy and empathy for other people of what they're going through. With the Cancer, the Cancerian ability to create a home, where you can go to your living room and you can sit on the couch and have some chamomile tea and have a blanket. I mean, that's more of a winter thing. So maybe summer hygge. We could look over to that area and do those things. Because I am filming this in the northern hemisphere. And for you southerners out there, well, could make more sense. Just depends on where you live and the weather, the climate, etc., etc. So, sit down. It's not all about the work and pull up your bootstraps and put your head on straight and just do the tasks and, force your way through it. Like, no. Because just doing that, depending upon how, you may give up very easily when you're just pushing yourself, making yourself suffer. And it's not coming from an authentic emotional place of where are you nurtured inside? Are you calm? Are you present? Just taking a breath. I was watching Sonia Choquette, a spiritual teacher, author, who was saying that it's really, really beneficial to take a breath in through the nose and then let out the sound. And how do you feel after you breathe? So breathing is really, really important. And so, if I didn't say this before, looking at the fine print, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, but examining, looking, opening that scroll, unraveling it, and seeing the truth. What are we denying? What are we disowning? What are we refusing to look at? Pluto is going to unearth it, and it is going to steer us in that direction. So be open to receiving that. So, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy this full moon in Capricorn.